eva bandhuscha sakha tvameva tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. You are my mother, you are my father, you are my friend and philosopher. You are my knowledge, you are my wisdom, you are all in all, O Lord of Lords. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So again, today we are back to our reading of the Narada Bhakti Sutra, or Narada's way of divine love. And now we are in a very important place where this chapter starts with this idea how to attain to that supreme love. We always know when you attain supreme love, you are always absorbed in that bliss. You see God everywhere. Huh? So you live in the direct touch of the divine. It is so good, but how to attain it? How to reach that point? What practices one should have to do? Those are now being discussed. So these few verses are very important verses. Now we started with the verse number 34, which said that tasyaha, that means of this devotion, supreme love, sadhanani, the spiritual practices, the methodology to follow, to start to every day what to do, this sadhana, are gayanti acharyaha. Acharya means who? The teachers. Who are the teachers? Who have experienced themselves this love, this joy, this absolute bliss. What they talk about, not the intellectual people. Intellectual people can know intellectually, as we know. We have some concept that when supreme love comes, one gets intoxicated in that love. We have read that. Mattu bhavati, stabdu bhavati, atmaramu bhavati. They become so totally saturated in their own self. They got totally absorbed in that own, they totally got intoxicated in their own divine self. We know all these things. But how to reach is now being described, tasya sadhana, that spiritual practices, what to do, the hymns and chants or the japa or whatever is to be done, those are being now gayanti. Gayanti means they are telling us. Gana, gayanti also has another meaning. When people sing, means that's a good mood, isn't it? When one sings, it's a good mood. That means these are spontaneous joy which springs from the heart of these seers of truth, the acharyas, the teachers. They actually exclaim the spontaneous joy. It pours out from their own feeling. As we sometimes have to prepare some lecture, we say, oh my God, it's a big thing, I'll have to sit down, I have to find points and this and that. It's not spontaneous. You have to call these, okay, how can I make it possible? Huh? But when the acharyas are talking about, it is a spontaneous feeling, their spontaneous experience. So they talk about that. And that we are reading, and we are on page 81 of the book Narada's Way of Divine Love by Swami Prabhupada. And the verse was, as I said, tasya sadhanani, sadhana, not one, sadhanani. It's a bahuvachan. Bahuvachan means many, many sadhanas are there, not that one. God is unique, And the way to realize God is also unique. You can reach the same destination in diverse ways. So many alternative paths are there. What suits you? But these teachers, practicing in different ways themselves. One teacher is saying with springing joy, with a heart full of joy, expressing, this is the way you can attain to that guru. So that's why it's Gana, Gayanti. Gayanti means singing, singing with joy. So that we are continuing, and then we read a few paragraphs, and where we ended there when Sankara pointing out what Sankara says, that faith, devotion and constant union with God through prayer, these are declared by the sacred scriptures to be the seeker's direct means of liberation. Shankaracharya says, direct means of liberation is what? Now you have to faith, shraddha, devotion, bhakti, constant union with God, how you connect yourself with God constantly. And by how? By through prayer. These are declared, the sacred scriptures, to be the seers. This Shankaracharya is saying. And then he continues, there is a buried treasure. Something is there underground. A jewel, or say mine of silver or gold. No? Though, so is to be uncovered by, not by merely uttering the words, oh, gold, comfort, no? That will not come. But you must follow the right direction, then dig this, remove the stones and earth from above, and then make it your own way. In the same way, the pure truth of Atman, which is buried under Maya and the effect of Maya. Maya and its effect this world. Maya is delusion. Maya deludes us, means it does not allow us to see things. Not only it does so, it brings some other thing, projects something which is not there. Double confusion. First of all, covers what is not there. That's called avarana. And then creates something which is not there. In the cinema hall, in the movie hall, you enter, the white screen is white screen. All the time, it is there. Before the movie is projected, or when it is not projected. No? But as soon as you enter into the movie hall, they put the switch off. That means you don't see anything. Darkness. Not only darkness, they project something on the screen. And you got totally Maya and its effect. So this is the problem. Maya itself is that which does not allow us to see the truth which is inside. And not only that, Maya's creation, Maya has created some other thing which is more attractive and makes us engaged into it. So Atman, in the same way, the pure truth of Atman, which is all inside, which is buried under Maya and the effects of Maya, but they can be reached. They can be reached by meditation, contemplation, and other spiritual disciplines such as the knowers of Brahman may prescribe, but never by subtle arguments. Bhakti, the book will emphasize not mere argument, logic. Logic is good. But logic cannot take us to the experience. The logic should drop. Your intellectual pursuit, intellect, ego will fail because it is a matter beyond intellect. So he says that you can reach by meditation, contemplation and other disciplines, but never by subtle arguments. That means all the time the scripture means always they have philosophical disputes. To get engaged into philosophical dispute will not give you realization. Rather, that's why bhaktas don't want to go much into discussion of things. They want to take it, okay, this is the path, move on. Bhaktas like to, the nature of devotees are such that mostly they will like to be engaged in practice rather than talking about that. But it is not bad that one should not discuss, but that discussion should be only for intellectual clarity. Up to that far it has its help. Now,
once you mentioned about the sadhu who was that you met in the Himalayas, at all times keep on telling that moon is not there, sun is not there, but he is talking only.
no, if you be like that, he is a monk and staying there 70, 80 years away from the world, and he has grown love for that Atman, which is beyond sun, moon, stars. Analyzing that way, that's the love has generated there. And he is not going for Maya and its product, running for those things. But mere talking, there is no sun, there is no moon, if I say what it means to me. But I engage into other activities of the world, momentary things of the world. I find joy in arguing with somebody to defeat somebody, as the logicians normally do, pandits. Pandits, that's a great job of the pandit. If they can defeat someone by argument. So finding joy in some other thing, he is not spending that. He is to himself. He is a naked guy, sitting in his own grandeur. He have no clothing, no seat, nothing of the earthly thing. He is sitting in one rock and talking about that. And his whole life he has done that. So spontaneously, that he has grown love for the Atman. So, Atman saguna and nirguna is not the point. Love is love. But Sankara is not a bhakta. Sankara is one of the greatest bhakta. Viveka Churamani, we read that today. Atma anusandhanam bhakti riti uchyate. To search for your Atman is the real bhakta. And there, listening to that, it is not there, not there, not there. That is the sadhana. That is the sadhana, as bhakti sadhana will say, give up other works, other thoughts. He is giving up other thoughts, other works, thinking of Atman, the Absolute. In that way. And here someone says, Krishna is my all. He is the only thing. You are my father, you are my mother, you are my everything. So it is also, he is negating other things. Negative way. Positive way, you are my everything, you are my everything. So, yes, Gyanis, real, genuine lovers, even meditation. Say some people are meditator. They have love. Otherwise, how can you meditate? If you don't love the object you are thinking, how will you meditate? Why shall you meditate? From the quotation above, says Swami Prabhupada at the bottom of page 81, from the quotation above, one might suppose that we reach that unfoldment through our own efforts. But as a matter of fact, through the practice of these disciplines, we feel the grace of God. Ishwaranugrahat eva pungshang bhagavat vasana. Even to fall in, to grow love for God, it needs God's grace. You may analyze 1,000 times, but God's grace is necessary. Shankaracharya says. So, it is not, don't think that my argument I have understood. By argument only I have grown. Your argument can lead you to certain distance, but then you will see that the argument, logic, is not clarifying anything. Your heart is becoming dry and dry. So make the heart full of love. You have to see that, follow that path of devotion to say, pray, oh Lord, I am trying, it is not happening, please be kind, be gracious. So to surrender, to pray for that. Every mystic was had a kind of experience or realization, whether it is only an ecstasy or the lower samadhi or the highest transcendental consciousness, will admit that there is need of grace. Whatever may be the level of your experience, maybe the highest level of samadhi, lower level of samadhi, or as he says, the ecstasy, little ecstatic mood has come for a split second, mind is got so much elevated, or absorption has come, sometimes absorption. You meditating one day, you are praying one day, your mind is a little into it. Then you understand, but why it has come, I am not getting tomorrow, why? Today I wanted to get to that, I am not getting it. In every one of our life, in moment might have come, which day it was very joyful, because of meditation or prayer. But we want to do it today. But it didn't happen today. Yesterday I tried, it didn't happen. I am trying for 1 month, it is not coming. Then what will you think? Oh, I am trying, it does not come. Oh Lord, please help me, please help me. Surrender comes. Then grace of God is important. So, not by ego, I by my own analytical mind or my own power, I will do japa and meditation, but it will not happen. So, such experience flashes on the consciousness with a suddenness, which makes him realize it is coming from beyond, as if a big magnet were drawing his mind into that experience beyond the normal consciousness. And if one gets such flashes of experience, flashes of joy, then what happens? Then one realizes that the joy is coming from where? Why it is happening? It is God's grace. Every spiritual teacher will say, oh, by God's grace I have a good experience yesterday. No? They don't say, I did it because I got it. That genuine devotion will express then only, knowing that it is not your doing. Yes, you have tried. That desire also. That desire has been given by God. Your desire will not come. You will not be interested in going into the issues of meditation, prayer. Your mood will not come. Your obstacle will come. As you are coming to the meditation, and something will come in front to stop you. So it is God's grace. That's why in bhakti they say that it is your own effort will not bring anything, but you try to exhaust. It is said like by what is called the tiring the wings, the bird's wing, no? The story of Ramakrishna. The bird was sitting on the mast of a ship, and the ship moved into the ocean, deep ocean. The bird was unmindful, as we are, unmindful. We enter into the world and worldliness. And when we enter into this, suddenly I have hey, where I am? Where is my permanent abode? I have no other place to go. It's all water, 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 every direction. And there is no food. What shall I eat? So, the tree, the fruits, the bird is to use, the Satchidananda tree, nothing is available. But water, 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 ocean water everywhere. Then he tried to the east and to the west, to the north and to the south, and finding no abode in any direction, and came back and sit on the mast. And that's Saranagati. Oh Lord, I have tried, nothing happening, please do something. No? And when one surrender, understands that is not you cannot do anything. But it will not come without practice. That's the important thing. Every person will say, okay, then let me eat, sleep, drink, and make merry, and one day God realization will come. He is also fool. He is cheating himself. No? Okay, my effort does not work. So God will do whenever. Let me spend my days in nonsense things. And at the end of the day, one day gone, another day gone, another day gone in our life. Then years and months and days pass that way. No? So it is no useful. So to make an effort and then understand it is God's grace. Sri Ramakrishna used to tell his disciple, quote, "The breeze of grace is blowing. Set your sail to catch that breeze." Quote ends. And my master, means Brahmananda, said, if you take one step towards God, if you take one step toward God, He comes down 100 steps towards you. You move one step and God comes 10 steps, 100 steps. He's saying. That means we have to do the effort. As a child tries to stand up and falling down, no? When the mother is close by, she wants that the baby should stand up. So when the baby is falling down, mom comes to help. Okay, stand, helping. So it is the grace of the divine is necessary. So, and really if you try, God will, God's grace can be felt more and more. So it is a question of the sincere effort. Without making an effort, we say, God does not help me. I am calling upon God, nothing happening. No, it is not that. We have to be very sincere and His grace will work. Narada has defined also Sri Brahmananda Maharaj said, my master used to say, a man may struggle for success in the world. He may succeed or he may fail. And even if he succeeds, it is only something fleeting. But in spiritual life, if a man struggles, there is never a failure. And he achieves that which is eternal. How? We are all struggling and we are getting eternal? No. Whatever we are doing in our spiritual practice, that is not lost. That is the one step you have gone, making next step possible. So, in my material achievement, today you have good success, and tomorrow it may be failure. Even you achieve something, you may lose. But in spiritual life, the practice you do, the sincere practice you do, nothing is lost. Say Gita said that Salpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Salpam, meaning even the little, asya dharmasya, of this spiritual practice, no? Of this dharmic life. Trayate, it removes, it drives away. Mahato, great. Bhaya, fear. Fear of death, fear of losing. It drives away that great fear of losing or feeling lost in life. So, in spiritual life, if a man struggles, there is never any failure. If one is sincere, there is no failure. And he achieves that which is eternal. Naturally, the effort and God's grace combined together leads him to. That's why Swami Bigyanananda Maharaj used to teach the disciples to pray every day. That, O Lord, appear in my life. Bless me with your darshan. Even not in my lifetime, when I leave my body, please do come at that time. At least whole life is good. But if I don't get, I'm not that fortunate to see or feel your grace, at least when I depart from this body, please appear. Please appear. Give your darshan. Give your vision. So that I'm not to come back again. So,
If in the last moment, if you are still in duality, you are bound to come back. You are not in not going to non-duality.
if you say that, the saguna and nirguna may krama mukti. If you have the vision of Ramakrishna coming directly, living, as a living presence, no? So that experience takes you to such a flight, not that immediately you are getting nirgun, nirvishes, but that will lead krama mukti from there. That attraction will lead someone to have the ultimate vision of oneness, absolute merging. Parabhakti will develop automatically. So, and also you have your background, whole life you have practiced. Because of your practice of the whole life, as much as you have done with your capacity, don't compare with this person with that person. They is doing more, I am doing less. There is no comparison. It is a question of that whether you have exercised your effort to the ability, best of your ability. If that is done, and then His grace, at least to pray, please come, please give your darshan. Give me darshan now. If not this evening, not night. But if it does not do anyway, at least don't desert me. When I leave the body, please appear. So that's why we find that many Ramakrishna, many people see Krishna at the point of their departure from the body. Christ, Rama, Krishna, no? Rama, Krishna. An exalted state. Say that sweeper, Rashik was the name of the sweeper. Sweeper, Ramakrishna blessed him. No, everything will happen. Don't worry. See, he didn't do spiritual practice much whole life. Only he swept the temple garden and the campus and saw Ramakrishna saluted from a distance. And then at the point of death, he said, hey, bring some cushion. Give some seat for Thakur, give some seat for mother. And don't you see? And they don't understand sometimes. It took some time. And then say, you don't see? And he said, oh Thakur, oh Lord, you have not forgotten me. Wow, what a grace, you have not forgotten me. Nah? See? So, that is the point. And then it is a Sagun Darshan. Sagun Darshan will take you to whatever plane it takes. Vaikuntha Lok, Ramakrishna Lok, people talk about that. And then there being in that higher plane, not to be born here again, you can make a journey from there to the absolute journey. Krama Mukti, gradual liberation. That is, scripture suggests that idea. Narada, but in spiritual life, if a man struggles, there is never any failure, and he achieves that which is eternal. Narada has defined the goal, the true nature of supreme love. Now he is going to give us the methods by which the goal can be reached. There are many methods for attaining it. Narada summarizes all the various teachings of the acharyas, the illumined teachers, in the following aphorisms, 35 and on. One may adopt one or several or all of these methods to reach the goal. Huh? So, Narada is now describing the methods, how to reach the opinions and views of different spiritual teachers who have attained that state. You can choose what your heart pleases, or you can take one, or you can take two, three, or all of the sadhanas practice in your life and get into the love of supreme devotion. they may be divided into two groups. One is the negative, another is positive. Both are necessary. But in the way of divine love, what is more emphasis is laid upon the positive aspect of the discipline. One is the neti neti, not this, not this, not this. Another is the this, this, this. This is Thakur. This is the Lord's temple. This is Lord's house. This is Lord's kitchen. This is Lord's, car. This is Lord's property. So anything, it belongs to Him. Not me, not me, not me, not me, not me, thou, thou, thou. You can think that way. But that is the positive. And Bhakta will say, everything is God's. So whatever I am doing, I am serving God, serving God, serving God. Another will say, no, 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 this is not, this is within duality. It is not God, it is not, it is wrong, it is Maya, it is illusion. You take whatever path you will take. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, quote, as you move towards the light, darkness is left behind. Or, as we read in the Srimad Bhagavatam, quote, be devoted to the Lord. Fix your heart on the Lord, and that will bring forth the instantaneous vairagya or dispassion and jnana, direct revelation of the Lord. So, Bhagavat says, you be devoted to the Lord. If you get more attached to God, 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 automatically your mind will be detaching, detaching, detaching. One path, I detach it, I move towards this. Another path, I love so much, I forget other things. Our mind cannot do 2-3 things at a time. We suggest that it is called the multiple tasking, but that is true, but that tasking does not become perfect task work as you can do concentratedly one thing. 2 things can be done. You are cooking 2 items, you boil water in one burner and then cook another in the rice. Or 3 another, you can put another. That's called multiple tasking. That can go on because you put it. At a time it can work together. But when you giving your meditation, you are doing this, at the same time you are thinking something else. 2 things cannot be done together. So it is only there. Our spiritual life is concentrated practice. Half-hearted practice is not. So that's why fix your heart firmly on the Lord. Be devoted to the Lord. Fix your heart firmly on the Lord, and that will bring forth instantaneous vairagya. If you can fix your mind in God and focus there, automatically your detachment will happen. Your mind will be off from that. But practice should be sincere. And jnana and direct revelation of the Lord will come. Anyhow, the following aphorism states the negative method now. So 2 ways of spiritual practice. Now let us go to the verse number 35. So we first talked about the left out discussion of verse number 34, where we understood that Narada, the teacher, is saying that there are different sadhanas, spiritual practices, which others, teachers of Bhakti school have said, I am going to tell them. And now, that is the introduction we have read so far. Now we are going to the verse number 35. And what is 35? Preambling has been done. You can do it positively, you can think negatively. One is that you move towards the God, towards the Lord, one-pointedly, forget what is on your right and left. One is that you say, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it, it is important, unimportant, it is unimportant. It's the path of negation and path of positive thinking. Here, 35 verse says, Tattu Vishayatyagat sangatyagacha tattu. Tat means what? This spiritual practice, devotional practice, is possible by two ways. Vishayatyagat, Vishaya means the sense objects. That is the most obstacle for us, no? The sense objects always attract our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our touch, all the five sense organs have their corresponding sense objects. And we being attached to those things, our mind is pulled into those directions. That's why it is said, Vishayatyaga. You renounce. It is, if there is no, you don't see divinity, detach. Give up this path. Vishayatyagat. Not only Vishayatyagat, not only give up the gross object, mentally, don't brood over them. Even if we give up something, but mind does not give up. I have given up. But my mind thinks again and again, again and again. Sangha means association. Association of the sense objects. Mentally. So renounce physically, renounce mentally. That is the way to get that devotion. That means, this example, the boat. You can row the boat, but if the, the anchor is not lifted, anchor is connected with this object, that, I love this, I love that, I love that, I love that. You cannot love everything and also love God. God and mammon don't go together. Meaning, if you are there, you are not here. You are here, you are not there. Simple thing. If I am attached here, I will not be found in Hollywood, in say Washington DC, and not in Ridgely. And even if I have gone there, I am thinking of what is happening here, what is this. So I am not gone there, I am here. So
this means that when we leave our home, that if I keep on thinking about my parents, this means I didn't leave my home.
Actually, you have not given home, because you are living there only. Physically, your body is here, but your mind is dwelling there. So towards the beginning, really, we have to make it clear. No, you are giving means, you are giving up means physically and mentally, both. Otherwise, what is spiritual practice? If anyone can give up home, and God realization is possible. Anyone who gives up home, there are many people who give up home. They are going to different countries for a job, giving up home. They are all God realized soul. Question is that rather we think more. That's why loving God helps us to forget these things. But it says you can take this negative path also. Tattu, that parabhakti, that devotion, that utter state of oneness with the divine, can also happen Vishayatyagat, by renouncing the Vishaya, sense objects, and attachment to the sense object, finer thing. One is the gross thing. See, given an example. Suppose there is a delicious food prepared by somebody, and I should not eat those things for my health reason. So, I give up. Okay, going to take? No, I won't take. Okay, that's a sense object. You have detaching outwardly. But you are thinking, hey, how is that food? I am getting to know from you, from somebody, and mentally relishing. So you are not attached. You are attached. Mind is attached. Apparently you have detached, but your mind still telling, it is good. That means you are attached. Sangha, association with the sense object. So two things are there. We never analyze this part, very important part. You can give up anything. But can you give up from your mind? That's the point. Only spiritual people can do that. They love God. For God, they can forget everything. But we carry. The Sthita-prajna, the sign of the Sthita-prajna we read every morning. The craving follows them. He does not pay attention to that. He does not. He renounces craving. The line is he renounces the craving. That means, yes, this is natural, because sense and sense objects have connection. And we are from childhood, we are connected with it. But really, you want to be a bhakta? See, we are reading bhakti book, we are not reading Vedanta book. Vedanta book always we talk about give up, give up, give up, give up. Not this, not this, not this, not this. But in bhakti book they are saying Narada, the great devotion, the teacher of devotion is saying, Tasya sadhanani gayanti acharya. I am not saying great devotees, the accomplished spiritual people, they are saying that the Vishaya Tattva, that devotion, that supreme love will be attained by two means. Vishaya Tyagat, Sangat Tyagatcha. Remember two words. Vishaya Tyagat, by renouncing the Vishaya, the object itself. Because that drags me down to the world and worldliness. So that Vishaya, keep that subject, get it out. I mean, and its association. You may have given up the physical, but mentally we brood over. Sometimes compelled. I don't want to think, but it overpowers me because of my past habits. So association is there. There is an unseen cord, unseen tie. Unconsciously it is pulling me. So therefore, work on that also. No. I want God, I want God, I want God. So, tattu vishaya tyagat sangat tyagat cha. One beautiful, important verse. Talking about big lectures about Brahmanatman, Samadhi, ecstasy is good. But it is not good unless it is practiced here. It will not bear fruit. It will not bear any result. To enjoy spiritual life, this is criterion. The one way, if you like this path, take it. Analyze which is bringing me down to the world and worldliness, which is making me forget God. So, tag. Be merciless. That's why spiritual life is called a very, very difficult path in one sense, because you have to walk on the razor's edge, as it were.
Meaning what exactly? Meaning what exactly, Swamiji, by walking on the razor's edge?
When you walk on the razor's edge, can you walk? If you put your feet, it will get, the feet will be parted into two and blood will come out.
Right. How does it apply to
That means how careful you should have. If you are to walk, you have to know the art of doing that. And that is the way attachment bleeds us. Look at that. People loving power, position, money, wealth. Look at any big people in the world. Big guys who are world famous people. But with money, for money. Lying right and left. Stealing right and left. Cheating people. They don't find anything wrong. So what's that? And if that person wants to be spiritual, no. It is so difficult. Intelligent people even cannot give up. So therefore, we should be watchful. What is pulling me down? Very fine way. Apparently I said I have given up everything, I am a monk. But analyze your mind. Where is your anchor? Where you are getting attached? Why you are so much miserable? Miserable means you are attached. If you detach from the subject, nothing can make you miserable. Look at our all suffering, cause of all. I like it. And if it does not happen, then I get mad. Whatever thing. If one can be bold, so bold, I don't care for anything, he is free. That soul is free immediately. The freedom is within us. Swami Vivekananda, that's a song of the sannyasis. He said, you hold, give, let go. Learn that way. But that's why it is difficult. It takes life. Whole life people are struggling, but you do not know Maya's play. In a subtle way something comes. Oh, I have given up this thing, that thing, and I got caught into another thing. I don't care for good car, okay. I don't care for good dress, okay. But I have my weak point in some ice cream. I have something which drags me down. You become a slave. Otherwise freedom can be achieved, and freedom is God, and that intense love for God will come. Look at that, Mirabai example. Vishayatyagat, sangatyagatcha. She was a princess, no? She was married to a prince, and they were respectable people. But the kingdom, the wealth, the money, the palatial pleasures, that did not please her, a lady of that time, and absorbed in God in so much that not only giving up the physical gross objects of senses, husband, love for husband, or all the sensual pleasures available, kingly pleasures available, which is in her reach, renounced. What we renounce? We renounce nothing. Yes, so much she renounced, and renounced in such a way when she was given so much opportunity to come back, to be settled, and this everything we'll prepare a temple for you, and you will be praying there, and this. Nothing. Even that didn't stop her. So give up the mental association, physical first, and then mental. No attachment, no tie. And that's why Mirabai became Mirabai. So look at these, all Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, all the Goswamis of Sri Chaitanya's followers. Look at our Ramakrishna disciples. See, they love Ramakrishna means what? They have their home, Baburam, Raja Maharaj, Brahmananda. They are a big landlord, huge property. Giving up everything. And what they are doing? In the Baranagar days, no cloth, only one lion cloth. In cold and heat, mosquitoes. No food. Whole day they don't get any food. Vishayatyagat. They don't mind. But they are absorbed in meditation and japa. No? That is called renunciation. Vishayatyaga. And also attachment, not only the object, they don't think about that.
And also, there in that, when they were staying together, that time, Abhidanandaji liked to read more. Swamiji also, but then pots needed to be done. Swamiji said that he likes reading. Let him read. I will do all the pots. So he's liking for study also.
Yeah. So anyhow, so that means they are so detached to the world. Everyone at their home. Their father, their parents are there. They are not street beggars. Landlord, and he is having whole day nothing. Maybe a ball of rice, like children are fed one ball, round ball. That much is one day's food for them. Whole day fasting, almost no proper dress, no proper shirt, no proper highly educated people of that time, giving up the physical objects as also the attachment to them. Nothing pull them back. And then intensely engaged in loving God. So that there the revelation came. That's why they are all the great realization they got it. So this is very important part. That two ways that Vishaya Tyaga, verse number 35, by so what it says, to attain supreme love, on page 83, to attain supreme love, a man must renounce objects of sense pleasure as well as attachment to them. Mental attachment. Physically I have given up. My mind is roaming around that. So some boys come to join. Some make a plea. I will have to look after my family, no? No. You know that before you are coming, you know. Your mother is, yes, respectable, but you are giving that for God realization. Even that ideal is also secondary here. Because serving God, God will take care. You have to have that faith that you are coming to God. God is an useless guy. He cannot take care of anyone. You will take care more than God. Therefore, you, brother, pray and cry and weep and detach mentally, and physically you are away and mentally also. Why? Not to be brute, not to be rude, but to love God and say, pray to God, this is your world, you look after my mother. And with this weakness, many boys, they go back. And they go back, what they do? After a few days, they got married and they have their own family started. Then mom lives somewhere else and they are busy with their own family. Like anyone in the world. So see how it plays into our mind. We, first of all, as I am saying, it is a rude thing, no? You don't take care of your mom? No, you should not. And no one should just dishonor their mother, no. But when you are taking this highest goal, that it is you are not doing for anything, so you say, I am helpless here because this pool is so much. Oh God, please take care. You are taking my care, take care of my mom. No. And pray more intensely, cry. But those who have gone for some reason in the plea that I love my mom and trying to help her, after a few days you will find there will be some entanglement here and there. And many stories we know. And they went back. And then what happened? Then mom suffering remains mom suffering. And he got married and he has his own family. So he will have to focus on his own family. So you know what you did. You are doing much better thing being in this life. And honestly trying to lead a great... I'm not saying household life is bad. No, that don't take it wrong in my giving this example. But my point is that people have their own attachment, mental attachment, which manifests later on. So that becomes a barrier to spiritual growth. So that is the translation I have read. That means to attain the supreme love, tasya, tattu, to attain that, but to attain that, a man must renounce vishaya tyagat, the object of the sense pleasure, as also the sangat tyagat, as also attachment to them, mental attachment. Physically you have given up, but mental attachment. Hey, it's gone. No. Yeah, no, do it. You already have Adobe Flash Player installed. Okay. No. It was saying to install something, so I disconnected.
Oh, no, it is okay. It is okay. Don't worry. Okay, it's okay.
Okay. To what exactly is meant by the objects of senses, sense pleasure and the attachment? Two things, no? What do you mean by the sense objects? And what do you mean the attachment to them? Sri Ramakrishna used to refer to them as worldliness. And worldliness he would define as lust and greed. Ramakrishna said, simple word, lust and gold. Two things he coined. Renunciation of worldliness is essential if one would practice spiritual discipline. The secret is to wield the sword of discrimination. The master used to say, discriminate, give up the fleeting pleasure in order to attain eternal bliss. What he's saying, it is not to be anyone to be just go in empty hand. What they are saying, that you give up this petty attachment to these objects which are fleeting and go for eternal joy. Not this momentary joy, go to the eternal joy. That is the spiritual life. So, discriminate. If we study the words of Christ, we shall find that the same teachings of discrimination. Christ also, what he said? We read in the Gospel according to St. Matthew. What Matthew said? Quote, lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will be your heart be also. Where is your treasure? Your mind is always there, no? If you have some costly something you have forgotten in kept, so you are here, but you are thinking, oh, I am out. Is it there or somebody has taken away? No? Always that mind. So keep your mind in God. If any treasure you keep, it will be old. That's why he says that Christ says, it is Christ's message. Matthew is repeating, lay not up yourselves treasures upon earth. In this earth, don't try to make treasures. Because why? Here the moth and rust doth corrupt. You keep anything, it will be rusted. It will be eaten by the moths. You keep some good food, after some day you see what happens. You keep something, treasure in a costly thing, there is always the fear of someone stealing, someone is cheating. Your bank, you keep money on your bank. Your bank, the stock market goes up and down. You have 100,000, it goes to 10,000 sometimes. Or it can go up also. But there is a risk of losing, na? But don't put your treasure here. You put your treasure in God, in the heaven, which there will be no moth, there will be no rust. It will grow more and more and more. Lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will be your heart also. Once I asked Swami Turiyananda, quote, what is religion? I asked that question. And he, Swami Turiyananda, answered, quote, to make the heart and the lips the same. Mind and lips. What you say, what you think, they should be aligned. Therefore, this renunciation of lust and greed must not be merely physical, but mental as well. In the Bhagavad Gita, that means what if physically you are giving up, mentally also give up. Otherwise, it is called the cheating. You are cheating yourself. Giving up physically and enjoying mentally. So that is not the path of truthfulness. So in the Bhagavad Gita we read, quote, a man who renounces certain physical actions but still lets his mind dwell in the objects of his sensual desire is deceiving himself. He can only be called a hypocrite. Some psychologists call this repression. They may say, hey, why you are following this? They say, the psychologists say that is, don't suppress your sex. Don't suppress your mental emotions, no? Then it will be reaction. It is not bad, it's good. That question Swami Prabhupada is talking about. Some psychologists call this repression, which according to them create complexes. So they advocate expression, that is, enjoyment of sense pleasure. But that is not the remedy. In fact, the fact is that when a man yields to the desire of the flesh, he does not satisfy his thirst for enjoyment, he increases it. When sense enjoyment brings no satisfaction, you have it, you will ask more. You get it, still more. And ultimately you see, I don't get anything, but still I am doing this. So that's the frustration. So, furthermore, the senses have only limited capacities for enjoyment. The mind continues to desire, but the senses are no longer able to satisfy. The mind creates so many fantasies, but physically you may not be getting them. So it's a frustration. Surely it must be admitted that this leads to frustration and resultant complexes. Sri Krishna was a great psychologist, and he tells us not to be hypocrites. What is the remedy? He suggested. The truly admirable man controls his senses by the power of his will. All his actions are disinterested. All are directed along the path to union with Brahman. So it should be remedy, he suggested. A truly admirable person should control the senses. You should master the senses, not to indulge into the senses. Because there is no end. There are many stories, no? That by indulging into the senses, that you got no freedom. Rather, you got more bondage. Your more desire comes. It is like giving the fire. In the fire, if you put the ghee or clarified butter, your fire will not dwindle. It will flame up, up, up. Putting the ingredient of fuel, of ghee, into the burning fire will not stop the fire. Rather, it intensifies the fire and brings ultimately ashes. When you give into the fire, what happens? What remains? Fire eats away everything and consumes and remains the ashes. Life becomes full of ashes, meaningless. And look at that people who are deeply indulged into the senses and sense objects and whole life. See their life, how happy are they, how frustrated are they, how they feel about really what they have accomplished. That's why there is a saying of Bhartrihari, the bhogana bhukta, vayameva bhukta. I am trying to enjoy things, but enjoyment has enjoyed me. I want to enjoy, but that enjoyment itself has enjoyed me, means it is goading me, catching my neck, force me to go there and not get anything ultimately. So this is the important discussion here, very important, that this verse is very important, that how we should be careful to focus on this practice. That not only giving up physically, that's why it is said, give up, try to give up, get out of the mental attachment. Physical attachment, that is gross. First, that it should be given up. But matured people, they may be there, but their mind will not be attached. They are accomplished people. But for us, the students in spiritual life, we will have to take these two steps according to this formula. That one is Vishayatyagat, attachment to the sense objects, and not only the sense object, gross objects, but mentally that attachment which we carry unconsciously, that is to be also, we should be aware and then say, okay, I don't want that, I want God, I want God, I want Ajay. Not to keep your treasure, as you have just heard, into the material world, but in the heaven. Okay, so we end here.
Go ahead.
No, tell me.
I think because Ramakrishna who said
Yes.
auspicious, it is auspicious to dream about a married woman. What does it mean?
Oh, those are pure mind thinking of the pure relationship, I think, those types of things, yeah.
So that's auspicious, to
Auspicious,
dream about it.
yeah. So we have few questions, I'll try to. The question is, how to get more faith or Shraddha? That is the way, what we have read just now, we have to practice, that our faith does not go for God. Why? Our faith is on money, wealth, house, my husband, my son, my daughter, my mother, my father, my friend. No. So that's why my faith is not on God. My faith is more on doctor. My faith is more on a moneyed man. If I am in difficulty, they can help us. So, but we have to trust, yes. Yes, we'll have to take, so long we live in the world, we'll have to depend on them. But mentally we should know, God is the only protector. God is only the giver. So to pray to God, to be devoted to God. So practice, practice. How to cut the unseen cord of the past samskaras that makes me forget God. I try to consciously try, and I have been able to reduce the intensities, but how to progress in this even more. So your statement tells you that you have been able to reduce the intensities. Now see how much progress you have done. It was intense before. Intense attraction for the objects, mentally brooding over that. You are saying yourself that I have been able to reduce the intensity. If you have reduced the intensity, this much progress, do the same practice. Much reduced, much reduced, much reduced. One day it will have no effect on us. So again, the question of practice comes. So our samskaras we have created, we have to reconstruct ourselves. So we do get all these things by long practice, association with the objects. No, how we get associated with the objects, being in the being day and night with the similar type of object, we get attached to them. So now if I won't be in the... That's why people are trying to get out of their other responsibilities, coming back more to God, or becoming, renouncing hearth and home. They are becoming devoted to spiritual life entirely, no? So these are the practices we have to do. Practice, practice, practice. And pray, pray, pray. And also this scientific path, what we heard today, two words, Vishaya Tyagat, one, Vishaya, sense objects, the objects of the universe, Tyago, renouncing, and Cha, another is Sangha, an association, mental attachment, giving up. That is the path we have heard, and at least in the context of today's reading, we can practice these two ideas for several days or throughout our life. It's a great practice. Am I getting attached? What is my suffering? Why am I getting suffering? Look at that. You are attached. You like that someone will say you sweet words. You are attached to that feeling. But when they don't do it, then you get upset. If you say, Tyaga, I don't care what. Not to ignore anyone, but respectfully, I don't care. I want God. So this is unimportant. That is the Tyaga. If we can do that, what happens? It does not bind me anymore. So practice, practice, practice. Sangat Tyagat, Vishayat Tyagat. Vishaya, the sense objects, gross things. I like it, I like it, I want it, I want it. This is my inner. When I really focus on that, I get more bound, slave of all those situations. And mentally, even if I given up physically, but mentally my mind roams about. There I am bound. So I'll have to cut this strong cord of connection with the sense objects. That's why we renounce, we pray. It is prasad. We say it is not his food. We eat. You have to eat something for keeping your body. But we say, I have chanting Brahma, Pranam, etc., etc. And I say, it is prasad, God's grace. No? So, bring the idea of God's grace, not food. The attachment to the food will go away. Prasad idea will come. And that prasad idea will gradually, you will not make discrimination in the food, any prasad. Everything is prasad, the grace of God. Whatever we are taking. So should be that special taste for this and that, which sometimes bind us, will be or automatically go away. Okay? Here is some question. What retracted message? What did you take away? One message retracted. What
It says that can we say that when we
can we say that what we don't like something and we think about it often, we are attached to the object? Yes, otherwise why shall I think? If I say that when we don't like something, I don't like something, and we think about it often, that means there is a subtle way my mind has a feeling, though I say I don't like it, but I like it. So yes, there is a little touch of that attachment. So we should be careful about that. Okay? Thank you. Jai Ma. We will meet you again at 7:30 in our Nectar of Supreme Knowledge class here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.